Welcome to Fit to Be Real.
And a little extra.
It's September. We made it.
I know. I feel like I should be more excited than I am. I want to say boo.
Why? You love the fall.
I do. But like I said the other day in class, I wish the fall was in the summer.
Yeah, I still don't understand that phrase. That doesn't make any sense.
Because I love fall so much, but I wish we had off. Not that we have off in the summer, but I don't know. Just the feeling of the summer in a fall attitude. Put it on a t-shirt. Everything I just said.
I can't because I
want to boo September.
Yeah, because it's spooky season.
Yep. But I want to yay October.
Oh.
Does that make more sense?
Sure.
Okay. Boo.
I love September and October. How was getting the kids to school today for the first time?
They popped out of bed. Will they do that tomorrow? No. But they did today.
Well, because they have new uniforms.
Yeah.
It's the first day of school.
They want to see where their desks are and who's in their class. And that's all fine. But then, once we get in our routine, we'll be all right. Even Lewis popped out of bed, which I was shocked about. But it is the first day. We'll see how tomorrow goes. It's a half day. What the heck do they even do?
Oh, it's a half day?
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo.
Well, let's get them through this horrible September, apparently.
No, that's not what I meant.
How do you get through September? Food-wise. Because to me, September is, September, October, and then November before Thanksgiving. Like, it's apple cider donuts,
That's very specific time.
Well, I guess it's the fall. Just like all of the fall.
Yeah.
Like, I already want to go to Lynn Villa.
Yeah.
I want to pick out pumpkins. It's all too early and I'll never do these things. But like, that's the seasonal vibe.
Yes.
Like food-wise too.
And
I want pumpkin seeds today,
Yes. I love everything and all fall goings on.
Except for September. So nothing you say makes sense. But let's get into it. I'm Victoria.
Hey guys, I'm Carly. Was that wrong? Was that bad?
No, it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we want to talk about today is seasonal, but all seasons, because it pertains to food. So there's seasonal eating, and it's not just like eating a lot when you're sad in the darker seasons. It's like the foods that are seasonal. Like, do you ever, I got a watermelon this summer and I was like, oh my God, this isn't like a good watermelon.
Really?
And I'm not picky. I'm very easy. Yeah. I'll eat a pineapple all season long. I'll eat tomatoes whenever. Like, I don't care. But I could tell I was like, this should be in season, whatever that means. Because I wasn't really aware, but it didn't like taste the sweetest and it wasn't like the juiciest. And I think it's because we're getting out of that season for watermelon.
I was going to say, this is a stupid question, but was it not watermelon season?
I think summer is, but now we're in September.
But was it watermelon season or was it watermelon season?
Well, it wasn't watermelon season. That's what you say. It's watermelon season.
I tend to not pay attention to any of that. Seasonal.
Well, no, like you go to the grocery store, what's on sale, and
right.
Produce is produce. They have a tomato all year long, but like apparently tomatoes are seasonal, and Jersey tomatoes are seasonal if you're in this area. So that's what we're talking about today. The importance of it, why you should eat seasonally, and then the benefits of it as well.
I can't wait because after researching this, I learned something.
Cool. Can't wait to hear what you've learned.
I really did. If I talk higher, will you believe it more?
No, I think that means you're lying more. Like the higher you talk, the more you're like trying.
Right. I really did.
That's why I talk down here.
And that's why. Hi, I'm Carly. His voice up here.
She's losing her voice. Seasonally. That's seasonal too.
Yeah, that is seasonal.
So what is seasonal eating? It's simply eating the food that was harvested by the farmers in this particular season, whatever your season you're in. So we're in September, but this pertains to winter, this pertains to spring, this pertains to summer as well. So you want to keep to the season when it comes to going to the grocery store and buying, the produce
Right.
for your house that season.
Like, how many times have I gone to the grocery store? I eat avocados like it's my job.
But see, that's not all year long.
I know. And how many times have you or I bought avocados that either went badly immediately or just didn't taste good?
Well, there's like a thing out on Instagram that's like, have you gotten the rubber avocados? Like they're selling fake avocados.
I know.
And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, people are. But all 5 of the avocados that I had bought, I was like, I can't cut through them.
I know.
And then once I was able to cut through them, I couldn't scoop them out because it truly was like I could squeeze the avocado. It was very weird.
Because they're like making them in a, what's it called? Like a laboratory.
Yeah, genetically modified avocados, I guess. But like they're not telling you that.
Right.
There's like no sticker that says like GMO avocados.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't buy them. Which is why there's no sticker.
I know. And I am the queen of not looking at what's in season and just buying my normal everyday foods that I eat all year long, and I buy them all year long. And now I'm learning that you shouldn't do that.
Well, one of the reasons that you should buy seasonally is because of the nutrients within the fruit or vegetable in that season. So when it's being harvested, and we're going to go through like some of the, not all, because there are so many per season, like
I know.
itemized fruits and vegetables. So we're not going to list them all. We'll link everything so you can read it yourself. But, a seasonal avocado will tell you the season. And the reason why you should eat it in that season is because it is denser in nutrients and antioxidants and all of the good things. So when you eat them out of season, it doesn't have the same benefit.
No.
Like health benefit wise, which I didn't think it was that dramatic, but it is.
Every time you say harvested, I think about organs.
That's spooky season. So
you've said it 3
embrace
times and it's all I can think of.
Organs?
I could never be a farmer.
I was walking the dog yesterday and the medical examiner drove by.
What?
That was the first time I ever experienced that.
Really?
Yeah. I waited for them. They were at the stop sign. I was at the stop sign and I was like, oh my God. It said Delaware County medical examiner. It was a woman. I was like, what's in there? What's in your truck? Can I see?
Oh my God. Harvested organs.
Can you open it? So.
Yeah, sorry. I got us way off track.
We digress. There was another thing. I'm going to digress a little bit more. There's another thing I just saw this morning on Instagram. It was like one of those food for thoughts, like something to think about. And it was, I think, trying to be funny, but at the same time, it's one of those where you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And it was like, so if there is a health food section of the grocery store, what does that make the rest of the grocery store?
I was like, I feel like I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
And I like laughed and I was like, haha. And then I was like, oh my God, there's only like one, depending on the grocery store, there's 1 or 2 aisles of organic or natural foods and healthy foods. And then the rest of the grocery store just like exists. So what, if that's the health section, what's the rest of the store?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Like it's the healthy, it literally says on the sign, I hate the word literally, and I just said it, but it says health food aisle.
I know.
At Giant. Health food aisle. And there's only one.
So should the other aisles be like, not as healthy, a little bit more healthy, could be worse.
And like the worst.
Yeah. I like can't stop thinking about it because I need an answer. I think it's called consumerism and capitalism.
I think you answered it. The rest of the grocery store is unhealthy, even the produce. And we'll talk about why, but like the produce that is not in season is also unhealthy.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Keep going.
Thank you.
That is food for thought.
Amazing. So besides the actual nutrients that make in-season vegetables and fruits more beneficial for our bodies, it helps the economy. Which I don't think, which is like, I know there's so many people that think like this too, but I'm going to say it out loud. I don't think about the farming aspect of it. Like I don't go to the grocery store, look at the cilantro and like think, who cut this? Where did this come from? Like, who are they buying this from and then selling to? I don't think of the process.
Right now, you're bringing me back to science class in like 5th grade when we had to watch those for all you young people, they would roll in a TV on a cart and you'd get so excited because there was not a flat screen, a regular TV with a VCR, and they'd put in like a farming video in science class. And we would learn about agriculture. And where our food comes from before it goes to the factory and it comes from the front. Like I'm picturing those old videos of learning about farming, and I left it in 5th grade. I left it there and I never thought about it again.
Because you weren't really watching it. You were making those tri-fold or 4-finger fold, like pick a color, red, blue, green, or yellow. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you were doing.
Yes.
Or you were doing the 3 lines and making a Superman S.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was saying.
What was happening.
Or making a boxed house without picking up my pencil.
What?
You make a house with a square and a rectangle.
Like a single line.
Yep, but you're not allowed to pick up your pencil.
But you can't go over another line.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I didn't learn about the farming aspect.
Right. I'm going to say samesies. But yeah, it helps the economy because local farmers markets is where we should be buying the seasonal produce. And one of the easiest and like most obvious reasons why is because when you're at a local farmers market, Media, Pennsylvania has one I think it's every Sunday.
I feel like every town has one.
I'm sure. And I think the cities do too, but Media is what I can picture driving by. And there are a few different local farmers at that market. So they're all trying to outsell the other. So they're pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So you're going to get produce for a pretty good price. And you're also supporting the local community and you're supporting the local farmers to keep everything kind of flowing. And I feel like I don't do that ever. I was going to say enough, but I don't do that at all.
Right.
And I really want to do that. And I think that's going to be one of my like fall goals is to try on Sundays to go to the farmer's market and get like really good tomatoes or whatever they're selling.
So we go to Produce Junction pretty often. And that maybe is the middle between the local food, like the local markets. Then I think there's Produce Junction. And then I think there's the grocery store.
Like a
yeah,
chain.
the Produce Junction in our area is specifically produce, and it is dirt cheap and in bulk. So I do feel it's fresher.
Yeah, but where does it come from?
I don't know. And that's I don't know.
We got to look into that.
Yeah.
I also can't eat as much as they buy
I know.
for it to not go bad.
Right. And neither can I. That's why when mom goes, she splits it between the 3 of us because you can't eat that many carrots.
And she brought over so much. I was like, Mom, I can't eat all of this.
I know.
And this was like a quarter. Well, I guess it's a third of what she split.
Yeah.
I was like, that's too much.
It's like the BJ's or Costco of produce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it moves. You have to like know what you want
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, hurry up. Because there's so many people there because everyone's trying to do the same thing because it's inexpensive compared to the unhealthy grocery store.
Yeah. No soup for you.
No, you can't get soup there. I think you get the things to make the soup there.
That's true.
I don't think you can buy soup at Produce Junction.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off and you're telling us wonderful things. Go ahead.
Thank you. Another benefit of seasonal eating helps the planet, which I'm on board with.
Yeah, I'm so.
You're not really on board with the planet, on helping the planet?
No, I am, but I think you're better at achieving the goal of saving the planet where I mean well and I want to do it, but it doesn't always happen for me.
Well, I guess it's hard and sometimes it's inconvenient and sometimes it's more expensive to do it that way.
Right.
So like, I'm not great either, but I think that's the majority. So how does it help the planet, right? Transportation. That's the factor. Because if you think about where we're importing the food from the grocery store, it takes a boat to get overseas, to get on trucks, to be stored on trucks, to drive to who knows where, get to each location. And as much as there's some jobs in terms of all of those things that are helpful, the transportation is a gas and oil problem.
I'm sure. And the carbon footprint
Right.
of those transportation.
They create the carbon dioxide.
Right.
So that's contributing to the greenhouse gases, which is contributing to climate change.
Yeah. You just don't think about that stuff.
No, but if you buy locally, those local farmers, they're walking it into their own, well, they're going to drive in a car.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One car, one regular V6 engine. But it reduces the emissions from all of these bigger automobile, planes, boats, whatever it is.
Isn't that crazy?
It's just such a ripple. It's such a ripple effect. And that's just from because you wanted to buy a pepper. I don't know. Some peppers from the unhealthy produce section that isn't organic from the grocery store.
That's full of pesticides and salt
Right.
for keeping the nutrients in, which in turn, when there's salt put on, you're taking the nutrients out. That's like a whole hamster wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I linger too long staring at the two options between do I want scallions that are organic because they're how many cents more expensive per bundle of 5, or do I just want to throw some of these regular, whatever regular means, in my cart? And I do battle between the organic word and the non-organic, section. But it's 100% about what you just said. What makes it organic is what's being put on them, not necessarily how they're coming up from the ground.
Right. And we also know that just because something says organic doesn't actually mean you can put organic on anything.
Right.
I can get a tattoo that says I'm organic. It would be a lie. But they can do that on food.
We know that.
So there are as many health benefits as there are planet and economy benefits to buying locally sourced foods. I knew that, but I didn't really know. Just like everybody knows things, but nobody, in Victoria's words, deep dives into it. So once you start deep diving into something,
I hate that those are my words.
You're like, oh, I should have known that, and I didn't. So what are some of the health benefits of eating locally?
Tell us.
Wow, I feel like you really want to know.
I do.
Safer consumption. Locally grown foods don't need to package their foods.
Right.
They literally bring them to the farmer's market, not in a package. You're not getting the plastics. Have you read? Now, I'm going to misquote this.
The microplastics?
Yes.
Stuff? Yeah.
So we are consuming so much plastic internally. And that is also from how things are packaged.
Yeah.
So you don't even think about that because you're ripping off the package of the mushrooms when you get home, or you're ripping, and it all has plastic in it, and it sits in the sun, or it sits in a truck, and it gets into the food.
Or you're not unpackaging. I was in a rush the other day and I got 2 bundles of cilantro, and you put them in those bags that you rip off the little spindle or whatever, and then you bring them home. And I usually take them out of those bags, put a paper towel around them, put them in a different Ziploc, but an organic one. And I didn't. And I just threw them in, and I thought about the plastics, because those little grocery store bags that you are putting your produce in when you hand pick the produce, not just get a package from the pack of tomatoes versus putting plum tomatoes in the bag, that has microplastics in it, and it soaks into, just like that paper towel soaks up all the water and the moisture from the cilantro. All of the plastics are going into that moisture, and then you take the cilantro out to go chop it and use it. Even if you are rinsing it, it's still in there because they've been seeping and soaking in the plastic bag. Ugh. So those really paper thin,
yes,
but thinner than paper plastic bags have so much microplastic in it that we are just sponging into our food and then putting the food in our bodies.
Yeah. And that is crazy, crazy, crazy. And not even with the fresh food. Just think about when you get a steamable bag of frozen vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
And you put it in the microwave.
I didn't even think about that.
Hello? That's something we should all be thinking of. And I never do either. You just throw the steamable bag of peas or corn in the microwave. It's all getting in there, and our bodies are filling up with plastic. So by shopping local, they don't have to package it that way. A lot of them use biodegradable, paper or
cloth or something,
or they put it in your bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? You bring your own.
It's more expensive to provide bags anyway.
Right.
So it just keeps all costs down. and body cost
Oh
down.
my gosh, it is insane. And so also local farmers, they don't need the amount of pesticides and herbicides and fertilizers that like a shipping farm would need. And because of that, it's not getting into our food. And that is one of the causes of cancer. It literally goes from it can give you headaches, pesticides, to cancer. I mean, the range is very wide.
Both are horrible.
Yeah.
And yes, the levels are very different, but
the small scale farms, they don't need to use as many chemicals. I'm not saying no chemicals or pesticides. I'm saying they don't have to use as many chemicals to keep their, additives and the flavorings and the preservatives in there. Like they don't need to use all that kind of stuff.
It's so nasty.
I know.
I'm going to side tangent a little bit because this is what's coming up while you're saying this when it comes to packaging. Because if you think about all of this produce that they're trying to keep fresh and putting it on a boat to get it over here, like who knows where it's coming from, right? But that's the process. So they are spraying it with all this stuff to keep it safe. They're putting it in boxes or whatever they put in it. They put them on ships. And what lives on ships? Rodents and bugs and a whole bunch of stuff. It's the same thing. I don't know if you remember this. That a guy I was dating used to work for FedEx. And Pepper, when Pepper was a puppy, and cats do this too. They would like lick the box or the tape on the Amazon box or whatever it was. And I'd be like, oh, it's keeping her occupied, whatever. And he was like, I would never. And I would wash my hands after you open those Amazon boxes because I know what it looks like for them to sit in the warehouses. You don't know what it looks like.
Ew.
And the amount of rodents that crawl all over these boxes and then they get picked up and put on a truck and then the truck drops them off at your house.
Ew.
The amount of gross that's on and surrounding Amazon boxes alone, let alone where our produce is coming from.
Yeah.
And that's just from like, what do? You get scissors, you open the box, you put the scissors back. But guess what? Those scissors now have all this stuff from the tape.
Yeah.
And like rodent feet walking around the boxes.
Ew. And guess what? My scissors sometimes that I open my Amazon boxes are the same scissors that I cut the cilantro with. Because I just like, if I'm in the kitchen, I just pull them out from the knife.
Yeah.
Scissor like thing. Ew.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what I think about on top of all this stuff too. It's not even just the pesticides that they're putting right directly on the produce that we are just putting in our mouths. I am now, but like I wasn't a big produce rinser or washer.
No.
I put the bags of apples, I'd take the apples out, I put them in my, basket, and then I would just eat an apple.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of you are cringing right now, but like we never washed. You'd rinse it, you put maybe I would put it underwater, go like this, and now it's a wet apple in my hand.
Right.
But I'm not like soaking it in solution to get whatever's on the skin off.
Right.
Like a lot of people are doing that now.
I also feel like we didn't maybe growing up have to do it as much as we have to do it now.
Yeah, that's true.
And I am guilty of this as well. I like my grapes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wash them and sometimes I don't. And now after this, I think I'm going to wash them every time.
Well, maybe don't think. Maybe definitely do it. But sometimes grapes are like filmy too.
I know. You can taste it.
You can taste it. You can feel it. And I get very grossed out by that, but it doesn't really like stop me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't want to think about it. But I think that's the problem is that we all do that. Like, I don't want to think about it.
I know.
And then it just like, it is what it is. It gets worse. It's, what are we eating?
Love a good cotton candy grape, but like, where did they come from?
Well, they're fake.
I know.
They're not,
Yeah.
I don't think, Earth's candy.
No, I know that. And so like, you got to think about that when you buy them. Not only are they $99.
I stopped buying them
So did I.
for that reason. The price is expensive, but like, I was like, why do these taste exactly like fake sugar?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't understand. And so I didn't
Yeah.
want to think about it, but they are so good.
But the good thing about buying from a local farmer at a food market, you can ask them to their face, what do you put on your food? You can't do that to a big market farmer. But if you're at a local food market, I keep calling it a food market, local farmers market.
Yeah, same thing.
You can ask the person there right in front of you. How cool is that? Hey, what kind of pesticides do you use? Is it organic? Is it this? They know the answer, hopefully.
And the answer is usually yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what? I can't say that, but I would venture to say at the farmer's market, you're going to get a lot of more natural remedies for bugs to keep the produce healthy than them being like, oh yeah, we use Raid.
Right.
Or like,
we use Raid.
I don't know. What's the other one?
Oh my God, we would die.
What's the one that you spray on the weeds?
Oh, no, it's like illegal now.
Raid is for, I think,
That's
rats.
for rats, like bugs and stuff. But it is illegal to use that weed killer. And now I can't think of what the name
But
is.
they still sell it. Okay, I just Googled it. It's called Roundup. That's what I was going for, not Raid. But both are bad. Roundup. I don't think they're going to be like, oh yeah, we just use Roundup. So just wash them. But here you go.
But there you go.
Roundup. Oh my God.
All right. Having said that, the next one is a shorter food supply chain. So the locally sourced produce is usually picked within 24 hours of selling at the local food market or farm to table.
Right.
So if this local farmer is selling to a restaurant, it is pretty much picked but right before it is being sold and right before you are eating it, which means there is less potential for bacteria and contamination. Less people are handling it.
Right.
It's not going through a factory assembly line. Not as many things are touching it, and it's able to ripen naturally instead of, putting it in a hot truck or putting it in a genetically modified sun so it can ripen quicker because they need to get on the truck, or freezing it and then having it ripen after it's frozen.
Yeah.
So it's way less contaminated with all of that kind of stuff, and the flavor is better.
Yeah. I mean, there's no wrongs there.
So there are so many restaurants that are farm to table. If you Google farm to table in your area, so many. I'm going to keep shouting out the Pieri Hospitality Group because they are local farmers and they use their food in their restaurants.
You can taste the difference too.
Yeah. So you should definitely check them out in Conshohocken. They have a beautiful farm where they not only have a winery, but they grow their own food. So, and they have a CSA.
I was just going to say, look into CSA programs because the fruits and the vegetables aren't like, it's so ridiculous, shelf worthy.
Look, right. Like Instagram picture worthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like your pepper might have one more bump than it should, but like you can't put that at Giant or Kroger. So it goes to the reject misfit box. It's ridiculous. You did their CSA. You've done before them. Didn't you do Imperfect Foods or something?
Yes, I did. Before they even had the Pieris even had their CSA, I did. It was like the fruits and vegetables that they wouldn't put on a grocery store shelf because they looked bad.
Right.
But they got sent to you to your home in a box for half the price. So I got like the misshapen carrots that look like a body with hands or like a tomato, that just looked oddly shaped. So you can also do that. There are services that do that. CSAs are great because you go and pick up a box of local food. Like it's not at a farmer's market, but it's perfect. It's inexpensive and you're supporting a local farm and you're eating clean food.
Yeah.
And Christina and Brian, we would love a sponsorship. This is like our third episode. We've talked about the Pieri Hospitality Group. We'll do a commercial for you.
Give us vegetables or wine, it's your choice. We'd like a box of wine as well. So I agree. I think what is the price cost to you? Right?
Right.
Because it may be a little bit more expensive for a farm to table restaurant, but like, what are you paying for? Health. You're paying for future. You're paying for safety of, the family members that you're bringing to that restaurant. And then you're also helping the community because if it's farm to table, it's local. It's not anything else other than that. So something to think about. I think the CSA boxes are pretty awesome if you can handle an entire box of vegetables because sometimes it's too much.
Well, so I had a friend that said, will you split a CSA with me because I can't possibly eat all of this stuff. So we split a CSA that she would pick up and she'd just drop on my front door.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wasn't in on that, but that's fine. So I think that's a great idea. And then if you get bored with your food, which is what we talked about in our meal prep episode, if you get bored with the same thing over and over again, those boxes, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to get something new, like a new turnip that you don't even know how to use and you like have fun in the kitchen again. So like there's so many other benefits to it as well. So something to think about.
With the specifically with the Pieri CSA, they'd always throw in like homemade olive oil, like a little bottle of olive oil or balsamic or something like that. They'd always throw in something from their farm that was homemade.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And the last one is physical and social health. So this might seem silly and you might be like, duh. But by going to a local farmer's market, you're being active, you're walking around, you're creating a community.
Oh, right.
And if you're going all the time, you are creating a community. It's a weekly routine. It's a healthy thing to do. You're meeting new people.
You're looking people in the eye, teaching your kids how to have conversations with safe strangers, right?
And you're also learning things because all we want to do is continue to learn. I mean, you're asking those farmers, hey, how do you grow your stuff? I might want to grow tomatoes in my backyard. What do you suggest I do? Because are we going to take business from that person? Probably not. My tomatoes are not going to be like that local farmers, but it's always good.
Well, I think the answer would be, oh, that's a lot of work. Yeah, never mind.
Mine would be like, I am starting a garden for the apocalypse so we can survive. How does one do this?
You won't survive. Just accept it.
But in a local farmer's market, there's coffee places. There's maybe a little bookshop. It's like a totally fun 2 hours out of your day that you get to walk around, and it's really nice. And there's local vendors. And if nothing else, you're creating a community of like-minded, healthy people that all want to know what you want to know. I know that seems a little like...
It's not. Don't say woo-woo.
I was just going to say woo-woo.
No, don't say... It's not woo-woo. That's what this generation is missing. That's what the world... That's the problem with the world. Like, everyone just needs a hug and some, like...
Whoa.
Like, normal interaction. Put the phone down. Walk around at, like... picture it. If it's a farmer's market for me, I'm like, oh, flannels.
Wait, I'm not allowed to say woo-woo, but you're allowed to say farmer's market flannels?
Yeah, like your flannels, you're in, boots. I don't know. It's fall. You're probably going to pick up a pumpkin at the end of it. Or, you got a bag. You have a tote bag full of fresh vegetables. You just talk to the nicest people who just want to sell something that they've made by hand and harvested by hand. The weather is beautiful. You're going to hit the soccer game later. Like, there's just so much good vibes from it, good energy from this whole experience, just even talking about it. So making that part of your routine, bringing your kids around an environment like that, like, there is no bad to it.
No.
There's no, like, pro and con. There's no con.
I just need somebody to follow me with a speaker playing the intro to Gilmore Girls, and I will have my Saturday set.
Where you lead,
I will follow
anywhere.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
You ruined it.
Sorry. Okay.
So, like I said before, we're going to post links. There's some pretty amazing links for seasonal fruits and vegetable lists that you should absolutely navigate yourself. Because I understand not everybody likes every vegetable and not everybody likes every fruit and yada, yada, yada. So it is just interesting to know what spring brings and what summer brings and what fall brings to the table, quite literally.
Good one.
Thank you. It just came up at the top of my head.
To the table.
Spring brings apples. Ooh, avocados is spring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we're out of avocado season.
Yeah, who knew? Right. Bananas is spring. Garlic is spring. Lemons, limes. I would have thought those were summer because we use them summerly.
Yes.
Interesting.
Maybe that's the beginning of their ripeness.
Maybe. Mushrooms, onions, radishes, rhubarb, and turnips, which I would have said is fall because that feels like flannelly to me. Summer is also apples and avocados. So
good.
Okay, some of these have
crossover.
I like that. Blackberries, bell peppers, cantaloupes, carrots. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Mangoes. Ooh, mangoes is a summer. That makes sense.
Seems like a summer fruit.
Tomatoes. Tomatillos?
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 I don't know. Barbara, tomatillo?
Strawberries, raspberries, summer squash. Cool. Okay, fall. Celery, collard greens, cranberries. Ooh, that makes sense. Peas, pomegranates, potatoes, pumpkin, radishes. There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
That's good.
Winter squash. So there's a summer squash and there's a winter squash. Know the difference. Sweet potatoes, yams, Swiss chard. You like Swiss chard, don't you?
I love Swiss
I
chard.
don't think I've ever used.
The only problem with Swiss chard is when you put it and saute it with a little bit of olive oil and garlic. It's like, it goes away. It's like spinach. It's like when you saute spinach.
Yeah.
You might be able to fill up an entire pan, and by the time you've sauteed it, it's like a little circle in your palm. Like there's nothing left. So you have to buy a lot of it.
Yeah. And I've done that with spinach where I'm like, it calls for how much?
Yeah, I know.
And then I put it in the pan. I'm like, it's going to overflow. But then all of a sudden it's gone.
It's gone.
I'm like, wait, what?
I know.
And then we got winter, which is beets, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, also carrots. So there's definitely a crossover. Oranges is winter. Leeks, kiwi, kale, herbs, kiwi fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Potatoes, pumpkin, rutabagas. I don't use rutabagas usually.
No.
There's some that I'm like, in theory, I know about, but I've never actually, like, that's not part of my. So the CSA would be pretty cool because then you have to.
You have
It's
to.
like, why? It's already here. Figure out how to use it.
You paid for it. It's going to go bad.
Yeah. So definitely look at these links and lists. All of them are USDA, like government type lists. So they're real. It's not just me making these.
Victoria's like, what fruits and vegetables can I put in each list?
Like I get to decide.
Yeah.
But check them out because I think it creates a different dining experience at home for many different reasons. But one being like maybe we're not eating the best version of these fruits and vegetables that we can because we're just eating them when we want.
Right.
You know, and I'm definitely not going off seasonally. So I think that's going to be my fall goal.
I think it all contributes to everybody's overall health, well-being, and like happiness. If you're putting good food in, your overall energy is going to be better. And these little things, I know it's hard. I know sometimes it's more expensive, but just like Victoria said, you want to pay for an unhealthy meal now or you want to pay for doctor's bills later.
Oh my God. I love when I see those memes or whatever Instagram posts where I'm like, you know what? I do complain about how much a fitness class is or how much, you know, good grocery store. At the time, it was grocery store, and it may change to farmers markets, but grocery store like bill is when you leave with like all your produce stuff. But insurance isn't going to cover your, you know, immune system issue that you have to constantly go and figure out what's wrong with you. Like those bills add up so much more. And you don't think of that. Of course, you don't think of that in the moment.
Because you don't realize that you're full of plastic and pesticides and you didn't wash your fruits. You know, it's like, it's a hamster wheel. So I think if just like anything else, do a little bit of research and do a little bit more than you're doing now. You don't have to completely change your whole lifestyle, but do a little bit more than you're doing now and you'll be a happier person.
Yeah. So let's get into some more tips. I like when we talk about tips and then we're like, but wait.
Oh, but wait.
There's got to be a better way.
I was just going to say that. There's got to be a better way.
So for your real tip of the day, I don't even know if this is 100% true.
Yes, I love tips that start like that.
But one of the things I've noticed at the grocery store is that coffee is actually more expensive now too. Even like the ShopRite brand or the Giant brand of coffee. And I still look at the prices and I'm looking for the cheapest one. So like right now, I think a cheap one is like $8.99 or $7.49, something astronomical. It feels astronomical for 1 pound of ground coffee. And I don't look at like, I don't turn to the nutrition label or the ingredient list for coffee. I look at the packaging and I'm like, oh, that's got a vanilla bean on it. And I also look at the price. However, just like with farmers markets, there is local coffee companies and local, which is also in quotes because we live in a not like coffee harvested state. But look and do some research for your coffee because yes, it may be $12.99, but there might be a reason that coffee ground bag is better for you because it doesn't have all these additive stuff and local. And I think that makes the coffee taste better.
I know.
Because I bought one before. I was like, oh, this is $11.99 or $12.99. But I've heard of this company before and they're local or some sort of organic coffee company. And I was like, I'm going to just try it. Oh, and my coffee was like, I didn't know coffee could taste like that. A regular filtered black coffee. Like I didn't think it was going to be as impressive as it was. And yet, could I afford $12.99 every time I need to buy a pound of coffee? I don't know, but something to look into as well. Just like you're going to look into bettering your produce, look into your coffee because there's something there too.
I'm going to let you in, not Victoria because she knows. I'm going to let you all in on a little side secret that Andrew has. Andrew, my husband, his family owns a coffee company in Jamaica, which is crazy. I've been there once. It is on the top of the Blue Mountains in Jamaica, and they've had it for 70 years. They actually just sold it recently, but they make their own coffee. His family only knows good coffee. This coffee,
Right.
You can taste the difference. It's very expensive. They only sell it to, specific places that buy barrels at a time. So you
Right.
can't just buy a bag of his coffee at the grocery store.
Right.
They send barrels. So when we go to his parents' house and we have their coffee, the taste is immensely different. And they ground it every single morning. There are no
It's like
already
beans,
yes,
whole beans or whatever.
it's beans. So the coffee grinder is on all day long because they drink coffee all day long.
Yeah.
And you're constantly listening to the grounding of coffee beans and smelling coffee beans. I didn't know anything about coffee and I was like, I don't get it. I can get coffee from a street cart in New York. And Andrew was like, no, I don't think you understand.
Brown water, I think,
Mhm.
comparatively.
Yeah. So next time you go up to Andrew, be like, hey, how's that Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee?
Yeah. He'll just say, good.
Wait,
So it's not really that exciting to go ask him, but you definitely should do
It's
it.
going to be a very short
You
conversation.
can be like, oh, you know about that? That's cool. But yeah, I actually think at farmers market there might be some coffee tables,
Yes,
too. So
yeah.
that's just something to think about.
So they used to sell it at a farmer's market in
Right.
upstate New York. They would
Yeah.
sell. Okay, that's that.
That is that.
And now for your real extra tip of the week. It's called Get Social. What does Get Social mean? Man, I'm so good at that.
Are you?
Yeah, I feel like I am. I feel like I nailed it. Get Social means there are some good uses for social media. We don't hate all social media like we always are complaining about.
No.
Get on social media and look up local farmers markets in your area. Everyone is posting. Everyone is trying to promote their locally sourced farms or their products or anything. So go on social media, find your local farmers market and make it a point. If you can't do it weekly, do it once a month. Go to your local farmers market once a month and support the people in your community. Get yourself out if you're a homebody.
Yeah.
And learn something new.
That's a good way to get out if you are a homebody because you're only going to encounter some really nice people.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not the risk of like, oh God,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know. I can't think of a place that would make you feel like that, but it's definitely not at the farmer's market.
No. So that'll force you to get social. So get social.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get social, get caffeinated. And I hope you all learned as much as we did, or maybe it's just like an eye-opening, like, I kind of knew this, but now I actually know it. So now that we actually know it, let's do something about it type of thing. Because once you get informed, then you have a choice.
Yeah.
You have a choice to make a change, or you have a choice to sit on it and, shut your eyes or put your head in the sand. So those are your options. Welcome. Happy Monday. If you're listening to this at the start of the week, figure out what kind of person you want to be.
It's September.
Fit to be confused. So, per usual, we hope that you are fit to be real.
And always allowed to be a little extra.
For legal reasons, we have to tell you that this podcast is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are not healthcare professionals. For all of your health, wellness, fitness, and self-care needs, please refer to the medical professional in your life, your primary care physician, your therapist, a certified coach, whoever it may be. And then let us know what they say, because I guarantee we need to know it too. Okay? Okay, bye.